and I watched the Uber route at 2:10 a.m. The drop-off wasn't our street. I'm not jealous of places, I'm jealous of arrivals. Places just wait, arrivals decide. At 2:10 a.m. my phone lit my face with a kind of polite cruelty I've come to associate with receipts and apologies. "Thanks for riding with us," the subject line said. "Trip summary." I hadn't ordered a ride, Sam had. Our inboxes shared two human beings and the kind of optimism that names a folder home. Pickup, studio. Drop off, Crescent and Maple. Not our street, not our direction. I could have tapped the map bubble and watched the little blue line draw itself like guilt, but I already knew the route. Crescent and Maple is the block with a bakery that forgives every mistake by 7:05 a.m. and a hotel that tries to pass as a residential building by buying nicer lamps. I set the phone face down, which is either maturity or cowardice depending on the day, and listened to the apartment remember how to be a room. At 3:14, keys in the lock, the soft audition of someone who wants to wake you gently and take credit for the manner. Sam kissed the air near my cheek, our administrative kiss stamped and filed, and said, "We finished late." The word late kept its coat on. I was supposed to be asleep, to unwrap morning like a present that forgives the night for showing up drunk. I didn't sleep. I enrolled in the oldest class there is, doing nothing while time tries to teach you things. At 7:05, the kettle believed in itself. I poured 2 mugs and left the trip email open on the counter like a newspaper from a less polite city. Sam came in with studio hair and the kind of fatigue that prefers nouns to verbs. "You're up," he said. "Uber wants to tell me where you've been," I said and showed him. He looked, then looked at me, then looked at the mug like it might learn to testify. He said, "Ah," which is his 3-second vowel that means let me do math with feelings. "Crescent and Maple," I said, because facts deserve their full names. "Andrea forgot his charger," Sam said. "He crashed at the Mirabelle, whatever it's calling itself, the one over the bakery. I dropped him and came back. I should have told you. It was late. It was logistics." He said logistics like a man holding a box that might be full of bricks or apologies, and either way he would carry it. I'm not a detective. I edit sound for documentaries. My job is to make rooms listenable even when people insist on speaking while refrigerators try to become rivers. If you give me a lie, I don't know where to put the echo. I texted Matt, who keeps my panic from becoming a form of cardio. "Lunch. I have a route and too many verbs." He wrote back, 12:40. One question only. At the north side, linen napkins, chairs that know how to hold a conversation without squeaking. Matt listened with his head angled like a mechanic who hears the rattle you're making and the one you've learned to ignore. "What you know," he traveled from place to place. "What you want, to stay a person, not a parole officer. Ask why or who, not both. If you ask both, the night gets to write your version." On the fridge at home, we keep our rules under an orange magnet that is trying its best. "What happens out there passes through this table first," I wrote. Sam came in with his bag like a dog that understands it has misread the weather and put both palms flat on the table, the gesture our therapist taught us because you can keep secrets in fists. "Which question?" he asked. "Why Crescent and Maple?" I said. "Because the part wasn't coming," he said, and looked at the wall where the paint is resilient but less enthusiastic than it used to be. "Because Andrea said the mix will breathe if the air changes, and he's sometimes right, and the studio was a coffin with better furniture. We walked. He had a room. I dropped him and came back. I should have told you. I didn't because I wanted to keep the sentence small." "Do you want to keep the plan small," I asked, "or the consequence?" He smiled without showing his teeth, which is how sincerity rehearses. "Yes," he said, and I laughed despite myself, because if you don't laugh at honesty when it arrives late, you teach it to stop trying. We added lines under the orange. No midnight logistics without a heads up. If restlessness calls, we walk it together. He wrote one I wouldn't have thought of. If one of us feels more broken than brave, we stop the scene. Our rules always sound like stage directions written by people who want to be better than they remember. For 4 days the world took its meds. I delivered a cut without wanting to break my chair over the idea of narrative. Sam found a bridge without wanting to burn the song around it. We ate at hours that didn't confess. The map bubble kept its opinions to itself. Then Tuesday did what Tuesdays are born to do. At 12:10 a.m. my phone chirped with the polite menace of an elevator that doesn't hurry for anyone. Your ride is on the way. Drop off. Crescent and Maple again. I texted everything okay, which is the coward's way of holding your breath. Sam wrote back, yes, speaker didn't fit in Andrea's car. I'll call tomorrow. He didn't say hotel. He didn't say he'd be late. He didn't say anything that would promote a word to the title of confession. I didn't respond. I moved the kitchen chair to the center of the floor, our therapist's favorite ridiculous effective trick. Move a chair between you and the part of your brain that wants to direct. Your body will believe what your mouth refuses to. When Sam came home the next day and saw the chair, he smiled like he'd been seen by a gentle god. Move it with me. We slid the chair toward the window, then back, then sideways, each move buying a sentence from the expensive store where words don't mark up the truth too much. I almost texted I can't, he said. I stopped because I would have sent it to you, and I didn't want almost to be the color you remember me by. We added another rule under the orange. If an I can't wants to exist, both of us sit in the room with it. It looked like a prayer someone might answer by accident. Saturday, I did something I would have mocked a past version of me for. I went to Crescent and Maple at 3 in the afternoon, when streets wear their day face and hotels look more like buildings than like ideas. I stood across from the bakery and watched people commit to pastries without turning their desires into theater. I took a picture of the lamppost Phoebe once called the forgiving light, because I wanted to teach my brain to see this corner without giving it a plot. I sent the photo to Sam with the caption, "This is a noun." He sent back a picture of our table, the orange magnet, the marker with its cap on. "This is a verb," he wrote. Then came the email that pretends to be an angel and often is. Residency, 7 days, Mountain Light, quiet rooms. He forwarded everything, map, description, the kind of fonts that call themselves kind, and wrote, "I want to go without disappearing. I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, please ask, what did you write before what did you do?" I taped 2 lines to the fridge. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day, even if it's just weather. He sent weather. Today the table forgave me. Today the page didn't, but I stayed. Today I don't know anything and I'm here. I learned to treat Uber emails the way I treat thunder. Informative, not authoritative. I unsubscribed from receipts coming to our shared box and set them to his, which felt like both trust and punctuation. I kept the chair in the corner, ready to audition. At 12:41 on a Wednesday, the little microphone icon blinked next to his name. Recording. No message arrived. I typed a version of a demand, then turned it into a question, then turned it into nothing. I moved the chair and reminded my ribs we have time. When Sam came home from the mountains, he had a face that belonged to him again. He put 2 printed pages on the table and looked at them like a parent at a nursery window, proud, afraid, ready to call in more nurses than exist. "They're not good," he said. "They're mine," I said, and we decided that was lesson enough for one kitchen. This is not the part where the dot stops moving or emails go to heaven. I still find folded maps in pockets where I thought I'd left kindness. I still wake at 2:10 and want to check whether geography has learned my name, but most nights, I don't. I put water on and put the chair in the center of the room and leave a pen uncapped like a threat. A week later, because the brain is a teenager who likes dares, I opened the Uber receipt again and watched the blue line animate because animation is a cheap miracle. Halfway down the route, I saw it take a tiny detour around roadwork I had forgotten about, a block fenced off by reality, not romance. I'd missed it the first time. The car hadn't been avoiding me. It had been avoiding cones and men in vests. I'm not naive enough to think all detours are road work. I'm relieved enough to say some are. At 7:05 this morning, I filmed the coffee rising because I'm sentimental and because ritual is cheaper than religion. I wrote here in the caption, Sam slid his hand into the frame, palm to my palm without touching, a lid that doesn't claim to seal. Here, he said, the orange magnet held steady. If a night ever offers me another map with too much honesty and not enough context, a blue line bowing toward a lamp that thinks it's merciful, a receipt that tells the truth before I'm ready to hear it, I hope I do the handful of humiliating, useful things we've taught ourselves. Put water on. Move the chair. Ask why before who. Wait for the key in the lock like it's the first note in the song you still want to learn. Let the apps keep their nouns. The rest, hotels pretending they're homes, corners pretending they're confessions, routes pretending they're fate, can stay where they belong, background. If we're any good at this, we'll keep being the address. And if we can't, we'll at least have a table with 2 mugs, an orange magnet, and a chair that knows how to be ridiculous and effective at the same time, exactly where it needs to be.